Okay, the exit polls are a shock. I'm amazed. According to the BBC exit polls, they're expecting the Conservatives to gain 50 seats and Labour Party to lose 71 seats. Uh, that will give the Conservatives a huge majority. It's just I'm shocked. The how does this work? What is going on? The Conservatives are look. It looks like the Conservatives might win, which means we will have a hard Brexit. This will be detrimental to the UK economy, maybe even the world economy. At the look at this, 50-seat gain for the Conservatives, according to the exit polls. Look, the exit polls aren't always 100% correct, but it still gives the Conservatives a majority of 86. I think the biggest problem we have is Labour Party not actually saying that they will stand up against this referendum, against the Brexit. I'm clearly in shock. You can tell. It's hello. Who's watching? Hello. I'm shocked. It's okay. Look, the SNP are going to gain some seats. So SNP are gaining 20 seats, which explains why Labour have lost 20 seats, right? Out of the 71 that they're predicting that they're going to lose. Lib Dems are only gaining 1 seat, which is shocking to me, and the Greens are not gaining anything. Um, it's just a shock of the election. I really hope that the exit polls are not right. Usually they are. The exit polls usually are right, but I don't know what to say. If we look at it this way, I mean, the likely Conservative gains are coming from, mostly from the south, apart from some from Halifax is in the north, Woking, South, Wakefield, Bolton, northeast. Bolton of all places. Bolton's in Manchester, and it's mostly a working class, and I would have expected Labour to have bagged that seat easily, but according to the exit polls, the Conservatives are winning. I mean, it's a shock to the system, to be very honest. I wanted to say more. I wanted to say what could happen. I was predicting a hung parliament. Personally, I was predicting a hung parliament, and I thought the Lib Dems are going to be kingmakers again, simply because I didn't think the Labour Party or the Conservative Party would have a big enough seat. But no, it's just not worked out like that. Let's see who. I mean, I But okay, look, can the Conservatives seriously not win this still? I don't think so. I think the exit polls can't be that far off. However, no, the exit polls in the UK have never been that far off, but in America they have. You have to remember, in the States they have. Everyone thought Hillary was going to win against Trump, but Trump ended up winning, right? All the exit polls there were saying that Hillary was going to win. So let's not lose heart here. Let's hope that these exit polls are not right, and let's just hope for the best. I don't think anybody wants a hard Brexit, but people have got so sick of this Brexit talk constantly non-stop that they have had to just, that they've just gone with it and said, oh, screw it, let's just do whatever happens now. I'm still shocked. But if you look at the Conservative gain of 50 seats, this looks really disappointing for all the other parties. Have people not turned out to vote? I mean, all the data that was coming out beforehand was saying that people are actually against Brexit. Or did Jeremy Corbyn just? I wasn't there to watch the debate, but did Jeremy Corbyn just do really that badly in the leadership debate? Was he really, really that bad in the leadership debate that Boris Johnson totally steamrolled him? Um, it, I am lost for words, and that doesn't happen that often. But I am lost for words right now. You've got conservative gain of 50 seats. That is ridiculous. 50-seat gain for the Conservatives, which nobody, and I mean nobody, was expecting that. It just shows that how badly Labour fought this election. Um, they just got steamrolled. They had no idea what they were doing. Uh, Jeremy Corbyn is not leadership material. He did not stand out. You got to remember, I mean, even in the Labour Party when they were in power, they had the likes of Tony Blair, right, who, say what you like about him, but he knew how to talk, he knew how to carry himself. Uh, I mean, he was Oxbridge, wasn't he? So uh, he knew what he was doing. But at the moment, if you look at the other side, you've got, okay, I'm not going to say that Boris Johnson knows how to carry himself. I mean, he's a bit of a lunatic himself, but he's surrounded by people who actually know what they're doing. And Boris Johnson himself is a clever man. He's a very smart man, even though I don't agree with his policies at all. And I think it's the end of the UK as we know it right now. I think the NHS is going to be sold off, as there have been leaks already that the NHS is being sold off slowly but steadily to American companies. 50 seats gained by the Conservatives, according to the exit polls, the BBC exit polls. That sent a shock. I think that's shocked the whole system. That'll be a shock to not just me, but the whole country. Sorry, what are you saying? We now go over to our political commentator, the average Joe. Yeah. Well, the thing is, I am the average Joe. I'm not. Yeah, Joe. Hello, Joe. Look, I am the average Joe, but I do have a political background. I did study politics at university and at college as well, so I have some idea about politics, because I did study it for quite a while. So it's not something that's totally new to me. Okay, well, look, democracy. Well, look, they shouldn't know. They will have to accept what happens now, because I think the people have spoken twice in the election. But also, Joe, you have to remember. Do I know what a democratic referendum result is? Of course, I know what democratic referendum result is. But my argument was that we can have a second referendum if needed. But I think, and that was only in the case that these elections were going to lead in a hung parliament, like everyone was predicting. But the thing is, right now, I think it was quite a clear indication. Will they? Look, I think the Labour Party has not taken a strong enough stance on being pro-euro for them to do that. The Lib Dems and the SNP don't have enough seats and they're not enough of a stronghold in order to do that. So I think now, finally, we will actually Brexit will go through. In this case, I think it will happen, and I don't think they're going to mess around with it anymore. Because there is no moral high ground for them to mess around with anything right now. Anything else? Hello, everybody else who's watching. Please feel free to drop any messages. What do you think, George? Do you think they will do that? Well, look, I don't think they've been anti-democratic in the last 3 years. I beg to differ on that. I think many people had changed their minds on a lot of things, and simply because the Brexit whatever you want to call it, wasn't going right. And so they've actually ended up having to, sorry, let me reword that. They were saying that there should be another referendum, which I don't have any disagreement with. I myself was in agreement with this, that because so many people were disagreeing and it was such a small margin. So maybe they should have had a second referendum. But I think the people, as you say, yes, I agree with you. The people have now spoken. This election is essentially a referendum. So this election is a referendum. You could have had a referendum or you could have had an election, and you've had one thing out of the two you've had. Oh, by the way, my name's not Joe. My name's Adil. The reason I say the average Joe is because I'm just an average person, right? But I mean, personally, I think leaving the EU is going to be very difficult, and I'm actually fearing something else. I'm fearing the SNP calling for a second referendum on Scotland, because the reason Scotland decided to stay was because we're part of the European Union, and if we're not part of the European Union, Scotland loses out on a few things as well. What do you think? Hey, anybody else want to say anything? Please feel free to drop messages. Joe's web presence. Okay, that's nice. Hey guys, please feel free to subscribe. I need subscribers to my channel. Subs, please. Okay, so in the UK, it's just I'm just shocked by how things changed so quickly. Is it apathy though? Is that a question? Is it apathy? Are people just saying, you know what, whatever happens, it happens. I'm not going to vote. People have had enough. Also, you got to remember, generally the conservative voter is middle class or upper middle class, and they tend to have a better understanding of voting. I remember when I was younger and I was in a lecture by Professor Vernon Bogdanor. He's from was it Vernon Bogdanor? I think it was. Yeah, Professor Vernon Bogdanor, who was saying about basically he and his wife went in to vote into the election. Well, in Scotland. Was it? I'm confused. It wasn't Vernon Bogdanor. It was Professor Ivor Crewe. Ivor Crewe, yeah. I'll have to get back to you who it was, right? It was the guy who came up with the insider-outsider lobbyist theories. So if does anybody know who that was? Insider, outsider, come on, somebody please tell me. Anyway, so he basically said that he's an expert on voting, right? And he's a professor of politics. But anyway, whoever it was, whichever professor it was, and they are essentially they are saying that sorry, he went into the election poll and he explained all the voting procedure to his wife, and then he came out. And because in Scotland they have a different voting system, they've got the proportional representation part for the Scottish Assembly and whatnot. And when they came out, his wife said, "I'm not sure how I voted." I said, "What do you mean you're not sure how you voted?" She goes, "I'm a bit confused because the whole voting ballot vote confused me." So here he is, an expert of politics, an expert of voting, explained to his wife, and she still doesn't understand it. So we've got to remember I think the conservative voter is better at doing this. But Ramon, sorry, I'm not sure about the DUP and the Sinn Féin. Would you be able to enlighten us on that? Thing is, guys, I'm actually not in the UK right now. I'm actually in Saudi Arabia. I'm from the UK, but I'm working in Saudi Arabia right now, and this is where I'm following all the action from here, from I thought it'd be a good idea to have a perspective of someone who's not, been in the country, and is from, sitting outside the country and looking in from the outside. Um, so I, so that, I don't have all the access to everything, but please do reunite us with the Sinn Féin and the DUP. And Joe, you saying, I hope they respect the result. I hope they respect the result too. US Scott wants independence, but not transferring power from Westminster to Brussels. Look, the world that we're living in right now, Joe, is one that we can't actually. We have to be working as parts of teams. We have to be working with other countries. If we stand alone and we don't work as part of a unit, we're going to lose a lot of monetary value, and we're not going to be able to get many things done. Especially if you look at the might of the United States right now and China. If the European countries stand alone on their own, I don't think they have the same amount of power in order to control stuff. Like Scotland, for example, has a population of I think 12 million or something like that, and I don't think with 12 million you can take on somewhere like a power like the United States or China. But I do agree with you. Brussels has too much power. Brussels has way too much power, and what we need to do with Brussels is, well, I can't do it on screen. Like tell them to. Yeah. Look, they have. What we need to do with Brussels is actually have some sort of deal where we have our own independence in such a way that Brussels doesn't control everything. I think not being part of the the single European currency was one of the best things we did. If we were part of the single currency, I think right now we would be in a lot of trouble, and I don't think there was any way that we could have left the European Union. And even now, leaving the European Union, I'm pro-euro. I personally am pro-euro, and even though I'm pro-euro, I think you have to respect what people have decided. Then let's see what happens when the results actually start coming in, because as I said before, there have been polls which have been wrong. Sorry, what did you say, Joe? Here, I don't care if we're poor or powerless. Deal. We want independence, and nobody's taking on China, just sucking up to that. Well, look. Yes, you're right. Everyone's just sucking up to China simply because everyone's in debt to China, right? But if you don't have some sort of collective power, collective bargaining power, the Chinese will walk literally all over you. Whether it's the UK or Scotland separate and England separate, I don't think. I really don't know. I really don't think that's a good idea. I really think we should have some sort of collective bargaining power, even if it's not the European Union. Maybe like before the European Union existed, I think there was the European Economic Community and the European Coal and European Steel and Coal Community or something like that. It was called, with the the Rome Treaty 1957, I think it was. No, this is what we need to do. We need to somehow unify them. In terms of just the treaty, just trade, not everything else. Not in terms of the power. The power needs to stay within each country. Every country should have their own ability to conduct their foreign policy and their monetary policy and fiscal policies. However, there should be some collective bargaining. I honestly do. I agree with you. People should respect the decision of the people right now, and I think people have spoken clearly. But Joe, I'm still holding out. I'm still holding out until the elections have, the final results have come in. Maybe we're too soon to be speaking right now, but it's a fantastic opportunity for all of us to see what's going on. Um, So, Joe, you voted to leave in the referendum, and you also voted for Scottish independence. I'm guessing, right? So you got one out of the two, right? Um, so I'm just looking. I'm looking at this, and none of the results have yet been called. I think they will be called soon. I think one of the first, what do you call it, the constituencies usually calls it within an hour. Um, hey guys, everyone else watching, please feel free to message. Oh, please subscribe. I want subscribers too. Sorry, it's a new channel, and I've started using this. Well, I've started vlogging, and I've started. I'm uploading some videos on different countries. This short, small, like 2-minute videos, information and stuff about countries as well on there. As you can probably tell, I'm quite interested in the political sphere of things. Hey Joe, question from you. That's actually a good point. That's a very good point, actually. Ramon, you're spot on. What do you think of that, Joe? It's Northern Ireland and Scotland both voted to remain. Majority of them voted to remain. But I think you got to remember that we're not separate countries. We're all one country, right? So whatever we do, we have to do it as a unit. So, Joe, this is interesting what you're saying. What if the if Scotland goes separate from England, if there's another referendum and they vote to leave, and then after that they want to join the European Union, what would that be? And the majority of people in Scotland have already said they want to be part of the European Union. Yeah, I know exit polls are usually accurate, Joe. The exit polls are usually pretty accurate, but here's the question. They've always been wrong as well. Well, not always, but they have been wrong as well in the past. Like I said, in America with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So we don't know yet. As they say, the game's not over until the fat lady sings, right? No, don't look at me. I know I'm fat, but don't look at me. I'm not singing. Okay, so you're saying I respect democracy and fear those who would discard the people. Yeah, look, you're right. You you can't say that you. Okay, look, we all respect democracy, right? I mean, there's no point saying that. We're not questioning anyone's respect towards democracy. What we're saying is it going to be? Are you going to be happy if Scotland leaves England and then joins the European Union? Would you be happy with that, Joe? And Ramon, please, are you from Northern Ireland? Please, if you are, let us know what's going on with the DUP and Sinn Féin. I would love to know. Hey guys, someone please hit some like buttons on here and subs and whatnot. Come on. So at the moment we're looking at Conservatives getting 386 seats and Labour getting 191, which is an enormous gap between the two. And the SNP is getting 55, Lib Dems are getting 13. So even if they all get together, I mean, you're not going to be anywhere near the Conservatives. The Conservatives again are going to have a large majority. Looking at the current indications of the exit polls, and as Joe said, they usually are correct. Okay, Ramon, you're Spanish. Where in Spain are you from, by the way? Sorry, Joe, what do you mean by the EU doesn't, Remainers don't? Could you please tell that? Explain that to me. I'm just trying to understand. Ramon, where in Spain are you from? It'd be interesting to know. I love Spain, by the way. I've been a number of times. Madrid. The one city I've not spent much time in, I've spent a lot of time in Barcelona, down in the south in Malaga, Granada, Seville. I absolutely love Seville. Madrid, I've not been too much. I've only been once for about a day and a half, but it'll definitely be on my list to go to now. Definitely. Um, is it? Would you recommend it as a tourist? Question. Election night, and I'm asking questions about Spain, right? Hey, I might need a visa to come to Spain soon, right? Joe? Yeah, it's interesting. I like this. It's interesting. You guys getting involved with this discussion, so I'm enjoying this. Um, so now, look, when it comes to when push comes to shove, I would have said I would have been a Remainer. I would 100% have been a Remainer. But I don't think you can generalize everyone like that, Joe. Look, if the people have spoken, the people have decided. I think we're going to have a Brexit, and this is essentially, yes, you're right. This is a vote on Leave or Remain, but at the same time, SNP was strongly Remain, and they've gained seats in Scotland. So if it comes to Scotland on its own, I think that it's not going to be the Scottish people are actually a lot more likely to join the European Union. It's in Scotland's favour by far in terms of being able to sell oil and that to them, and North Sea oil would be a big thing. Oh, by the way, in the summer I was in Scotland. I was doing the N500, is it the NC 500? Is it called around the north coast? Beautiful, beautiful areas in the Highlands. Hey guys, we've got 4 people watching. Come on, get some more conversations going. Let's discuss this. Let's talk about what's going on here with the UK. Um, Being away from the UK, it's actually really painful to be away on election night. I've always stayed up all night during elections, and at the moment, if you look at the time, it's 1:50 at night, and I'm staying awake just to follow the elections here. And I think I'm going to be up for as long as possible, just so I know what's going on here. It's uh, it's very interesting indeed. The Brexit Party getting 0 seats, others getting one more. This is interesting. The Brexit Party not getting. Uh, Look, the Brexit Party, I don't think would have got many seats because Conservatives were basically pulling the same message, and they weren't being extreme. Okay, look, you're right. Maybe it does show that the Remainers were wrong. But then you got to remember, in the UK, we have almost separate classes. Joe, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And see you later. Um, it's in the UK, we have different classes almost, right? You have to remember that. If you remember during the 1980s, Margaret Thatcher managed to win general elections in 1979, I think the first one was, and then in the 1980s again twice. Um, and yet she had 0 seats in Scotland. And in the north, they hate her. I mean, you look at Lancashire and Yorkshire, and they hate her. They absolutely hate her, or they hated her even then. But she still managed to win because her main aim was to win the south of England, which is the southern England. The north and south divide isn't hidden from anyone. The south is uh, very much more affluent and has a lot more say on what's going on. Whereas in the north, you've got um, you've got a lot more working class people. Guys, anyone else want to say something? Please feel free. Um, it's look, it's a shock to the system. Still, I'm really shocked. I'm kind of amazed as well that you've got these numbers showing up. Right. What I'll do is I'll do another online session, an online live session at the end. Sorry, you're going to say something? Instead of exit poll, unofficial surveys, DUP 9. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Island exit polls, unofficial. Oh, DUP 9, Sinn Féin 7. Oh, that's interesting. That's going to be an interesting one. The DUP 9. I mean, is that going up or down? I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about how many seats they had prior to this, the DUP, because they've got some sort of alliance. They have an alliance with the Conservatives right now, right? So is that going? This is a very interesting election night indeed. Conservative majority. The pound surges after exit polls. Ooh, the pound has gone up. That's bad news for me. That's bad news. The pound going up is bad news for me. I don't want any pounds. I have to, when I send money back, I send it in, so it gets transferred. If the pound goes up, the amount of money I have kind of goes down. Nah, not good for me. But I suppose it's good for people from the UK who are going abroad, right? You think they had 10? Okay, so they've gone down by 1. So that means Sinn Féin have gained, right? That's going to topple the corridors of power. That's going to cause issues in Northern Ireland. Ramon, would you mind me asking why you're so interested in the UK elections, considering you're from Spain? Do you have any links, or are you looking at it in just terms of a political point of view? And also, I would be interested to see, like, cities such as Manchester, Leeds, that are in the north, and even Liverpool. These are strongholds of Labour. What's going on there in those ones? Have they lost? Have they retained? Have they won? Have they gained? Or have they just lost in the south? Because I know the south is quite distorted with Brexit. The majority of people in the south, simply because they're more conservative, really, aren't they? Conservative with a small c and a large c. So that would be one to see what happens. I'm looking. See, I think the Brexit Party. Let's see what they get as well, because Nigel Farage is making a lot of noise. He's making a hell of a lot of noise, but is it just noise, or is it anything to any real substance? Is he going to get any seats? And the Greens getting 0. The Greens getting almost zero gains, which is surprising, because I thought they would have gained more, because the Green voter would vote as a pro-Euro rather than anti-Euro. And in today's day of climate change and so on and so forth, you'd expect them to actually want to make some sort of changes. The elections are interesting for all the EU, and I like worldwide politics. That's the reason why I can understand. I enjoy worldwide politics, and yes, it does affect the EU. I'm surprised. I'm surprised more people from the EU are not interested in this. I think these elections are going to shape the world for the next generation. I don't know. I know Joe. I think he's left. Joe was very pro the election. I'm still weak. I'm still disheartened. Simply being pro-Euro, I'm disheartened simply because I think this is going to ruin the lives of the next generations now. The pound getting stronger, that's that was going to happen regardless of whichever way it went. Um, yeah, the pound's gone stronger against the Saudi Riyal. Look, can you see? I don't think you can see there. There you go. It's got stronger, which is not good for me because whenever I send money back, I'm losing money then. It's interesting. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the live stream now. Thank you very much for watching. Guys, hit some like buttons and subscribe and whatnot. And the bell icon, whatever you guys do. And, you know, what are the YouTuber thing? Should I? Please, 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 please. Okay. Right. All right, I'm going to start the live stream now. I probably will do another live stream after the elections, well, after the results have come out, and we'll take it from there. Ramon, please subscribe. Hopefully you can catch me in more content, and we can converse again. I usually do some, well, I've only started recently, but I'm going to start doing more online stuff, more live stuff, especially for football matches if you're into football. I'm a United fan, Man United fan, and we won. Yay! All right. So see you guys. See you later. Bye.